All right. That should wrap things up for now.
Are you done with your work?
Yes, sorry to keep you waiting. Today should be the day you were released from the Fortress of Meripede, and it appears that you have managed to complete all the release paperwork.
That's right, and we can...
A massive whale.
Do you have any idea what...
Judging from your description, that cannot have occurred. A whale of that size and shape cannot usually be found in the waters.
Immersed in primordial seawater?
Most people wouldn't be capable of entering in the first place. Yes? What is it?
Ah, right! We asked the Duke and he said...
It turns out that I have just received a report about this particular matter. In fact, that's exactly what the source of the tremor was here on the surface near Poisson. After the
water levels rose?
Fortunately, the water levels only rose for a short period of time. If the change in water levels is connected with the leaking primordial seawater, then the situation in Poisson may be much worse than it appears.
Navia should be in Poisson, right?
I would also like to go there as soon as possible, but I'm afraid I can't. I'll have to ask you two to go to Poisson first.
There's no time to lose! Let's get going!
Please be careful.
Goodbye. Farewell.
No, wait! Just a second!
Navia?
You're awake. Good.
I must have been dreaming. Malus and Silver were still alive.
It looks like you're all right.
Did all the sad feel...
The ruins you were exploring suffered a cave-in. When I arrived, you were just about to be I think I saw 2 Oceanids protecting you. It was only for a moment, perhaps even a fraction of it. Were it not for their intervention, I would not...
Wait! Did you say Oceanids?
Perhaps those 2 Oceanids...
I always told them that they didn't have...
Please come with me.
Neuvillette, are you okay?
Oh, I am quite all right.
Why do you look so... Oh, Paimon knows. You're the type...
I merely thought that...
Huh? Why didn't you just say so that...
Sigewinne. I hope all is well.
No way! Don't worry.
I see. Well, then...
Oh, and the Duke also says hi. Even though Sigewinne made him do that.
Thank you. I have indeed been busy lately, and I also hope that everything is going well in the Fortress of Meripede.
He still doesn't know what to... So, never... This isn't going anywhere.
Yes, in fact. I had arranged to meet you in Poisson, but when I arrived, amid my astonishment, I ran into the knave, and we had a chat. She informed me that she had asked you to investigate the ancient ruins here.
Yeah, we originally
Caused the mood on this boat to become...
Well then, I guess we're lucky we've got a local like me to organize things.
That was a little long-winded, don't you think?
Oh, you might be right. Anyway, to cut to the chase, as for what that is, well, let's start by saying that we'll be pulled...
Oh?
Well, it's just an expression, really. One that I just...
Huh?
Oh, come now. Your work doesn't involve much public speaking, right? This is a good chance to...
I see.
He is glad that you consider him your boss. Do go on.
In that case, do any of you have experience?
Not that I recall. Fremine and I once used a wooden stick in a basket to catch wild rabbits when we were...
I've also gone diving.
I'm afraid not. You may, though that was their name, they did not hunt animals. Today, a trap comprises of the following components. So,
For me, our line of work...
You use some of those techniques while moving the people of Poisson.
Yes, and I even...
I'm afraid I can't claim that as my strong suit.
Come
And I can be the...
with discretion,
I'd I'd probably use some sort of mechanical animal. Papa once bought me some small... I remember that you...
I did. And that would be a good way to go about it. If they're realistic enough.
What about you, Monsieur Neuvillette?
I fear I do not...
That makes sense. You usually... But I do have one more... If we were to create a trap now...
I would like for it to be effective, but bring no harm to the prey. A more gentle trap would be ideal.
Kind, as always. However, our intention doesn't... If we wanted to kill the prey in one strike, we would need a powerful implement. However, that also...
Wait.
Only a hunter who's a true expert at subduing their prey can snare it without...
Huh. We hadn't thought of seeing ourselves.
If our means of capturing and dealing with our prey is to put them on trial, but we shall require much more courage than any...
Oh.
As your in that case, you will have the opportunity to defend your art.
You would draw your blade against a god? I see. It seems like you have made up your...
Paimon can't believe it.
What the heck is going on?
Wow. How...
Lady Farina!
Shh! It would seem that there has been a misunderstanding.
Looking for excuse.
I raise my hands I will admit. I'm sorry, everyone. You are not the only one. But now, I, Farina, will use this trial to show the world this time. Applaud and rejoice. Mark my words. This shall be one of the most exhilarating and brilliant shows ever to grace the stage of Fontaine!
Woohoo!
Oh, now...
Why does it feel like Farina just... Also, even though she's still acting super dramatic, she is...
All right, then.
The court asks the prosecutor to please take the stand.
Is that... Also, please allow me just how much work...
Well, we did do a lot of prep after the meeting that day.
I can go over the tasks assigned to the Spina di Rosula.
Navia,
Most of the people who participated in the disturbance this morning were my subordinates. They changed into plain clothes and came to the Opera House as regular audience. The people's resentment against their Archon has been building as... Moreover, according to our understanding and analysis of you, so
you mean...
And their goal was to force you to step into the giant magic box so you may...
That's right. That house was a magic box.
As the super ultimate version of the setup that I used, the volume of the box was increased by a whole order of magnitude, and the distance it traversed was the entire gap between Poisson was an arc. My thanks, Farina. Without your help... Of course, this performance was only made possible with Father's support. We had to select a location, construct the giant magic box, dig it...
So, in other words,
That's right. It wasn't a sign of another disaster to come.
Then, I can guess you gathered a crowd, prepared a stage, and made sure that the champion duelist would be immediately ready for a fight. Also that as soon as I appeared...
Yes, that is correct.
Well, Clorand, I must commend you for your As for you, traveler, you'd make sure that I didn't notice anything amiss before revealing yourself as my prosecutor. Oh? It's fine. The stage is already set, so there's no reason to disappoint the audience. Let's see this
Sir Prosecutor, please allow me to pass. This is a
Huh? Charlotte wanted to give us something? Oh, so she's here. Oh, let Paimon see.
Begin.
Oh, come on! Just fast forward to the part where the prosecution lays out my offenses. Of course, it is only natural for humans.
That's true. But my charge here is unrelated to your conduct as an Archon. Instead, I would like to charge—
Wait, what was that? Lady Farina's a fraud?
Hey, I came here thinking that we were going to try—
Charge accepted. Lady Farina. Lady Farina.
I plead not. There is no way that I, Focalor, otherwise known as Farina de Fontaine, a member of the Seven and the Regina of all waters, kindreds, peoples, and laws of Fontaine.
Yeah, even though Lady Farina can be—
Yeah, I've never questioned her identity either.
I have cause to believe that common sense will prevail in this case. Many of the members of the audience have known me as the Hydro Archon ever since. See? Even the Oratrice has decided to show me its favor. If you wish to drop the case, I can promise you as the God of Justice.
An argument with near impossible odds, huh? We have to not only refute Farina's claim.
Well, I tried to give you the chance to surrender. And if I was...
That doesn't... First of all, you may be a member of another long-lived race, which would allow...
Who gave you that idea? Was it the knave?
A curse. I once thought it possible that the aura of an Archon might naturally resemble a type of curse. But in light of this claim,
Quest-Neuvillette sensed it too, huh?
Lady Farina— Well, it is true that it's
Well, don't start celebrating too early now. Besides, everyone knows that the main difference between a human and, for centuries, manifestations of my one need only to turn their eyes towards the Oratrice.
You tried to reference the Oratrice, but weren't you as confused as all...
Didn't I make myself clear at the time? The decision...
Lady Farina, I believe a reminder of your current circumstances is in order. While the court is in session, the principles of justice and the law must come before all else. While you are an Archon, you are also first and foremost the defendant in this trial. You will prove yourself unable to defend against the prosecution's charges.
I never...
That was no trick of rhetoric, Lady Farina. I've merely reiterated...
So, you neither knew why Child was declared guilty instead of having been created by you.
The real Hydro Archon. It is true that I did not know, but the Oratrice handed out that verdict unilaterally. You can't argue that just...
She's still throwing out all kinds of excuses. Seems like she's confident that...
My power as an Archon.
If that poses a concern, I'm prepared to extend my protection to the audience.
You don't need to go that far.
Aren't you the Hydro Archon? Or...
Indemnitium! Yes! It's all because of Indemnitium! All Archons, thus did I give up all of my divine power to...
Isn't that...
Yeah, no matter how generous an Archon can be, how could they give up all their...
It seems like nobody's buying Farina's
Hey, come now, everyone! I'm still the same Farina, please.
If what the prosecutor said is true...
Did she deceive all of us? And all of our parents and
Enough! That's enough. Tell me then, if you have no evidence of another Hydra...
Wow, she came up with yet another art...
Since you insist on claiming to be a god and not a human, then there's a method that you can use.
Miss Navia, please apply to serve as a temporary attorney for the prosecution before addressing the court. Though you act in partnership with the prosecutor, you must still adhere to...
Super sorry, Monsieur Chief Justice. Now, I've brought some seawater from Poisson, including... So, Miss, if we are to believe that you are indeed the real Hydra god, if you don't dare to touch it, then we would have basically proved the reverse. Oh, and I must remind you that after... I do hope you'll act prudently, and...
Navia from the Spina di Rasula.
If Lady Farina is indeed just a human...
Lady Farina, this test has been unilaterally proposed by the prosecution. As it falls outside the realm of standard court proceedings, you possess the right to decline participation.
Well, of course he had to tell.
She's just staring at the water without saying a...
What's going on? Is she...
Due to the inherent risk of the test, Lady Farina, you may...
What?
Hey!
I'm fine! Look at me, everyone! Will you believe me now? I really am your Archon!
Miss Siegewien? If you are present, Miss Siegewien, please come forward and attend to the defendant.
Siege?
Don't be nervous.
Please announce the results of your...
As everyone doubtlessly saw, Miss Farina was She was experiencing the adverse effects of exposure to primordial seawater.
Thank you, Miss Siegewien. Lady Farina, you may return to the defendant's stand.
Oh, wait. What did she just say?
Well, considering your tendency to run from your... However, after extensive discussion, we exchanged it for a sample that is not concentrated enough to dissolve an act. We don't want any...
Yeah, so out of regard for Farina's life, you secured... It's a great thing that the direct sample was...
Listen to me, everyone. Please think about it. How can you also, if I... Please, everyone, anyone, just listen to me. I swear, I really am your Archon.
I don't think anything she says at this point will...
With all the things that have been said, Paimon doesn't think there's...
I believe the time for arguments and presentation of evidence has come to an end. If there are no objections, we will move on to the final judgment.
I don't think anything she says at this point will sway me. She's too stacked against her now.
We shall now turn to the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale to render the final verdict on the charges. According to the judgment of the Oratrice Mécanique d'Analyse Cardinale, Farina is...
Well, what's wrong? What?
No, the Oratrice also displays a guilty verdict.
Isn't that correct?
However, the exact to be punished by...
That's actually one of the available sentences.
The one and only time the death sentence has been handed out at the court.
Farina's been sentenced to death by the Oratrice?
This outcome is indeed quite strange. According to Fontaine's current definitions of justice, as well as its recommendations for criminal sentences. Is this sentence really...
Yeah! Even Vacher wasn't sentenced to death by the the Oratrice. You know, the real evil mastermind behind the serial
Indeed. Not only is Farina's sentence overly excessive, the very point of our trial today was also to prove that Farina has never been the Hydro Archon in the first place. But now, the Oratrice seems...
Excuse me, if I may interrupt. Is the trial still...
Fremine! Oh, you finally made it. I assume that...
Any mission...
Is that... So the name...
I looked everywhere and finally found it But has the trial already concluded? Then...
Thank you for your hard work, Mr. Fremine. Please allow me... Traveler, I believe that you have already seen the other existing slate.
Huh? So what do you see? What...
I believe I have now made sense of the Hydro Archon's crime. It has to do with Fontaine's lost history.
Archon just guilty of deceiving her people? Oh, wait, no, that's Farina, and we've already proven that she's not the Hydro Archon. So when you...
In truth, everything that you've encountered in However, I'm uncertain as to how much sense they currently make to you.
Okay, let's try to recall the contents. Huh? Oh, Paimon gets it now, but... Then if
Let's hear them.
Incredible.
We're...
All Fontainians were originally created. The evidence for that can be found in how... Oh, and according to Navia, when she was a...
Indeed.
Yeah, and it follows from the content of the first slip. That could also explain why the Oratrice judged the Hydro...
The Hydro Archon's true sin...
And yet, after many hundreds of years, the Hydro Archon's creations have turned around to try to judge the Archon within the
Yeah! Isn't the image here... So wouldn't it be trying to show the image of the Hydro Archon also falling into the sea once the prophecy has been... In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters. Did Paimon get all that right?
You've made some keen deductions. I must say, given how much you still don't know, it is impressive that you've already managed to connect so many pieces of the truth. However, while you were able to decode all the information on the slates, when we were at the ruins, I tried to decipher the hidden information recorded in the slates. But since we only had 3 slates at the time, I was unable to come to a full conclusion. Now that the slate collection is complete, I shall make another... I believe I should share this truth not only with you, but with your hypotheses regarding the origin of Fontainians and the sin of the Hydro Archon. In the Fontaine of old, the previous Hydro Archon sensed the yearning of her Oceanid familiars for life on land. The Oceanids were enamored with the beauty and romanticism of human beings, and wishing to have those experiences for themselves expressed to the... However, even though water as an element is intricately linked with the power of life, the Hydro Archon, as not one to give in, she eventually found a way to create permanent humanoid bodies for her familiars. She poured primordial seawater into the Oceanids. But if Fontainians were to ever come into direct contact with water from the primordial sea, the power within their bodies would escape these artificial restraints and return to the sea. Of course, the Hydro Archon never received permission from the heavenly principles to create a new human race. And thus, the Hydro Archon and all of her creations came to shoulder the original sin of appropriating the power of the primordial sea. That is the true...
So you...
That's way too much information for me. Wait, but if that's the truth, we can't let the Hydro Archon be...
This really might be too...
Alas, your hypothesis regarding the 3rd and 4th stone slates was inaccurate. A key point of the visual on the third slate is how they have not been dissolved, which implies that the nation of Fontaine is the nation of Hydro, as well as the nation of Trials and Justice. Instead, you may also recall Navia's experience when she fell into the sea. Therefore, the meaning of the third slate is that the people of Fontaine shall try the Hydro Archon at the... Yes, it refers to our present situation.
I think I'm following now. So, in truth, everything we've done has...
What should we do?
Huh. No matter what...
If that's the case, does that mean the sea...
Traveler, I would like to point out another about the fourth slate. You probably thought that the eruption of primordials... However, I believe that rather than being a sure sign, that eruption could in fact only be a small warning of something far worse to come. As for the root cause of the catastrophe... Last. I understand very well why it is true. That whale does not belong to Teyvat. It has been greedily consuming the energy from the planet's primordial sea, using it to... And once it has finished consuming all of the energy contained within the sea, its next step will be...
You said that when the Hydro Archon first created Fontainians at...
Precisely. That whale finds the... Therefore, when it left the primordial sea, it decided to make its next stop.
We just barely managed to push it back, right?
That is correct. Indeed, it is more accurate to say that we should thank that Harbinger for buying us some time. From the way he looked, he must have been fighting...
That battle maniac. We've always known that he had a special connection with... Anyway, now that we know that this whale is the...
It is too late. It had already absorbed too much of the primordial sea's energy before we could notice it. At this point, it is even if the entirety of Teyvat were to be destroyed.
That's... We've already done everything. We've come so...
Indeed.
I'll fight it to the end.
So the prophecy will be fulfilled no matter what, huh?
The prophecy, yes. Just as prophecies are usually... Ultimately, fate shall serve as your own...
What's happening with the oratories?
I believe it is preparing to carry out the death sentence.
Farina! No, I still need need answers.
You.
Sorry. That shocked expression.
You are not Farina. Who are you?
The sweet sound of bewilderment. Marvelous.
Focalo.
Oh, that wasn't my goal, of course. Goodness, no. The heavenly principle.
Deceiving the...
It's all because of that pernicious prophecy. Dreadful, wasn't it? Everyone doomed to dissolve. One was not amused. In fact, one was positively bemused when that problem was thrust upon me by my dearest predecessor. That's the former Hydro Archon. She knew full well that and as one of the seven, she also knew full well that one defies the heavenly prince. So yes, as you have no doubt surmised, it was a rather I spent a terribly long time mulling it over, alone on the ocean floor. I had to outwit the heavenly principles. Allow the... I'm a genius, I know. Although, looking back now, it was hardly the inheritance one dreams of. Between the task of saving the nation... But one can only play the hand one is dealt. I did not choose this. Any more than I...
So you were also once one of the Oceanids, transformed into a human by...
Yes, I was. I always dreamed of becoming human. And I still do, even now. In my eyes, after becoming a god, I separated my divinity from my body and spirit, leaving behind only a self that was as naive and bewildered as the me you see before you now is that she could feel joy, sorrow, and everything. Her strengths were of a kind only a human could possess. But in my eyes, Farina's humanity was what made her perfect. She was perfectly human in every way. The person, anyway, so all part of the plan, of course. Do you still remember the final in order that the prophecy might appear fulfilled, under the curse I placed on her, so long as I, Focalor's divinity, continued to exist, she could not die. But nor was she. Instead, she was forced to take the stage in the opera house. I suppose now you probably understand.
But Farina is only human, isn't she? Even though she has had a long life, her mind is I cannot begin to fathom what she has had to endure. It must have...
It has indeed. And although it's been 5 and all along, she's been playing her part in the most unimaginably long, unbearably lonely...
Once let her...
Yes, it had. She did very well. If she had let her resolve, it seems that trusting human...
I believe that I understand how your deception... How would you build on this foundation to save the people of Fontaine? That is the most important thing.
Ah, good, good. Of course the Iudex of Fontaine has... I'm sure you've longed...
I've always suspected that it had its own consciousness. And Lenny did mention that he heard a human voice. It now seems that that person was you, hidden within the machine.
And then I became one with the oratories, taking Fontaine's gnosis with me. Yes, alas, your understanding of in truth, it is no enactor of justice.
I beg your pardon?
Oh, you have it. And to be more precise, not only will the oratories I mean, my work over these last 500, but really, some have already discovered that only the vast majority had to be.
It was all a part of...
Indeed. This power, accrued over 5 centuries, could have sustained Fontainians for millennia, had it only... But only power of this magnitude could hope...
So the Oratrice's call for death was for neither Farina... The destruction of that divine throne. If I do not misunderstand your intent, you must be...
Returning what's rightful. In other words, this was all done to return the authority of the Hydro Archon to the Hydro Dragon of this planet.
But...
Oh, what? The authority of the ancient dragons shall soon be yours once more.
All you've done throughout the years is just so you can sacrifice your...
I've never quite seen it that way, you know. Hydro Dragon, Hydro Dragon. I must say, had it been within my rights, Egeria stole the power of the primordial sea. And the heavenly prince. I, for my part, am the god of... Speaking of justice, I have always believed that justice So, if the theft of the primordial sea... Then, leaving matters of procedural right and... In other words, existence was defying the prophecy and At this point, we... Quest-Neuvillette, the highest judge in our land.
So when I was invited to the court of Fontaine to serve it at last, in the beginning, I was uninterested in human existence. But these 5 centuries of living, you are a devious one, Fussalor. Things being as they are, surely you know that I could never declare them to be guilty.
The hour of my execution is almost here. For the sinner, the curtain call has come. I know I may not sound it, but faced with death, I find myself a little afraid. Perhaps this is one thing both gods and humans have in common. Farewell, Neuvillette. I hope you've enjoyed the part you played these 500 years.
Quest-Neuvillette, hereby declare People of Fontaine, your sins are forgiven.
What
was that bright light?
But since we're all...
It's time to end this. We must mete out punishment to that beast. I have gained the strength sufficient to deal with it. Through certain means, we should seize the opportunity to pursue our traveler. Now that the oratories can no longer function, I require an executor to help me meet the root of the calamities befalling Fontaine. The beast, come with me, traveler. The hour of execution has come.
Thanks for helping.
Exactly.
Paimon has an idea. It's just that he gave us the impression that she...
I simply did not have anything to say to the weak. But you... So you may speak to me as equals. I have to agree. It's a strange use of a planet's primordial water. That kind of power is wasted on it. It's not cooperative. It eats too much. And I have more... All in all...
Miss...
The point...
Well, being that this... So what sort of person is your master? Well, Chad...
Oh, right. So you... His name is Sertologi.
Huh?
I am unfamiliar with that name.
Huh. So Master isn't sufficiently famous.
The Foul?
Still nothing? Well...
Ooh, that one we've heard! Right, Dr.
Oh, so you do know that name. But I suppose you understand now, yes? My master is like...
Wait! Didn't you also mention a...
Actually, never mind that. That the all-devouring narwhal used up nearly all its such roiling hydro energies. As such, the Fontaine back on the surface has most likely... In other words, the prophecy that you've been...
What?
Not to worry. Focalor has already managed to deceive the heavenly principles.
In the end, the people will all be dissolved into the waters, and only Farina will remain, weeping on her throne. Only then will the sins of the people of Fontaine be washed away.
Hey! Help! Over here!
Fontaines, initiate emergency rescue! Hurry!
Hey, lend a hand!
Look! The water's receding!
It's a miracle!
Water's receding.
We didn't dissolve. The prophecy was wrong. The prophecy was wrong.
Are you right?
We're saved. The prophecy was wrong.
So, you really are here, Neuvillette. I didn't think you were going to have free time this hour of the...
Really? Oh, I suppose you must have met Mr. Linney. In any case, you came at a good time. I was just considering reaching out to you to set up a meeting, so I may explain some things that I haven't had the time to before.
Aw, fun. All right, let's have it then. How was Fontaine?
It is strange how words can often leave a bitter taste in the mouth when it finally comes time to say them out loud.
Whoa. So that's what happened? Focalor destroyed the divine throne of the Hydro Archon and restored your power to you. Transform, but Paimon still doesn't quite get what you...
For me, the authority of the ancient dragons refers to absolute control over the hydro element. Fontainians were incomplete humans born of Egeria's use, but so long as those primordial energies remain within them, I could use the ancient dragon's authority. In other words, when I gave my verdict, Fontainians became...
Focalor must have counted on you to make that decision as well. Your verdict was the key to making the prophecy appear to have come true, while saying, yeah, and in a manner of speaking, Focalor finally made it...
It seems from your expressions that you still have more things you wish to ask. Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it. I have investigated his case along many avenues, and I have learned that he once fell into an unknown chasm when he was young. There, by chance, he awakened the all-devouring narwhal. But whether it be by sentiment or reason, that should not have been enough to consider him the root cause. As for the judgment passed by the Oratrix, whether it was due to that liability by association or...
Guess Focalor had Fontainians in mind the whole time. Hang on a second. Back when Fontaine...
Life has always flowed like water.
Yeah, Lynette said the fountain is where...
In truth, even those couples did not know that those Oceanids who were blessed within the spring water would later descend...
Paimon sorta gets it.
Ask away. I will tell you the truth as I know it.
Yeah, about...
Ah, Lady Farina. The people are only aware that her death sentence has not been carried out. She abdicated the post of High... I related Focalor's words to her faithfully and completely. After hearing them, she seemed neither... She simply said that she was... Having said that, she then packed her things and moved out of the opera house. You need not worry. I will make arrangements to ensure that she will not want for food. In truth, I am somewhat happy for her. But now that she no longer has to play the role of Focalor the High...
What about you then? What are you...
After Focalor passed on, this matter will directly affect our trials. After much careful consideration, I've decided to...
Looks like you're still considering...
As an elemental dragon, there are indeed many things that I must do. As such, before I attend... Additionally, the Hydro Archon's departure has brought...
That's true. Then wait, but the various mechs and machines and...
As I am now, I have full command over New Musia, and it can serve as a complete substitute.
Wow.
Ask away. I will tell you.